Back, sports fans. In this segment, I'm going to discuss the Buckeyes being in the college football playoff, as well as the road to making it. Buckeyes played fewer games than every other team that's in the college football playoff. I think most people know that by now. The question becomes should they have made the college football playoff because of that? And is it fair that they did based on the opponents they played? One thing I'll say is about the opponents that they played is they did play the Hoosiers, and that was a tough game, but they did win it. And yes, while they did not play the Wolverines or the Badgers or the like, they did play the Spartans, and they played the Nittany Lions, and nobody knew what the Nittany Lions were going to be at that time. So that part of it is interesting, but I get what people are saying compared to the SEC teams and the Clemson Tigers for sure. However, the Buckeyes, for the most part, did not, and actually, they did not control anything except their non-conference schedule. That's true of every team. They did not lay out or set their conference schedule. So to penalize them or to blame them for whom they played or did not play is ludicrous. With that having been said, then the next question becomes should they have made the college football playoff based on the fact that teams like the Gators or Texas A&M played more games than they did? Well, the one thing I'll say is the Gators lost 3 games. And I don't think an 8-3 team should make the college football playoff over a 6-0 team. No way, no how. The best argument that's made outside of the ones that did make it would be by Texas A&M. Texas A&M lost to Louisiana very early in the season. And while that team wound up being a pretty good team, as it turned out, it's a tough call. But I will say this, Texas A&M beat LSU by 13 points, whereas a lot of teams outside of the Gators and the like blew them out. So LSU had a bad defense, or an even worse defense this year than they had last year, and couldn't quite muster the same offense as they did last year with Joe Burrow at the helm. With that having been said, I'm okay with the Buckeyes making it because they are undefeated and they did not control their conference schedule. And also, who knows if they had played 8 games if they wouldn't be 8-0. I don't think the way the Big Ten went this year that anybody was going to beat them aside from the Hoosiers, and the Hoosiers had their chance and didn't do it. So why are we now jumping on the Buckeyes about them being in? I just think it's a silly argument, to be sure. And I think Dabo Swinney's comments about the Buckeyes, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sure it's out there somewhere where you can read them. I know one of the things he said is he has ranked them first 12th and then 11th in his coaches poll. Well, to me, that's just going to be all the more bulletin board material for the Buckeyes. And I'll tell you right now, this is no team to be messed with or played with. And considering how close a game it was last year with the Clemson Tigers, I will not be surprised if the Buckeyes wind up beating them, if for no other reason than Dabo Swinney's comments. However, I think ultimately the Crimson Tide will win the college football playoff. And that's a little bit of a Christmas bonus that I did not include, or was not planning on including this segment, but I'll leave it at that. In the next segment, which will be the final segment, I will, well, you know what? I'm going to leave it right there because that was going to be the last segment, and I kind of combined it in this one. So that will do it for this episode of, or the season of College Football Playoff. For all of you out there, I wish you a Happy New Year, and I look forward to more sports shows in the new year, as well as more breaking news, to be sure. May not be quantitative-wise the amount of breaking news there's been this year, but you never know. If you're out on the road, drive safely. Have a Happy New Year. Take care. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.